Okay, eyebrows, perfect. Smooth head, mainly because I use Johnson's shampoo. Apologies for the bathroom openings recently, but fucking hell, no tears, my ass. Get one drop of that golden syrup in your eye. It's like, fuck yeah, help me. Before I know it, on the bathroom floor, staring up at this bottle, Johnson's. No tears. No tears, my ass. Right, so next up is White Noise, starring Greta Gerwig and Adam Driver. I really like Greta Gerwig for some reason. She reminds me of she's like a Victorian-esque almost performer. She's very, very graceful, sweet little features. She should make a fabulous sort of alien girl falls to earth character, I think. And she gets involved with kind of weird stuff like that. Well, not like that. Not even similar actually, but you know, she gets involved in weird stuff. It's just a shame about oh god, it was called Frances Ha. It came out in 2013, I think, where she actually wrote and starred in it. And it was fucking shocking. It was really bad. So Frances Ha, as in Frances Ha Ha, but I think her character was called Francesca. So Frances Ha. Fuck knows. It was awful. Steer clear. As Babette, though, in White Noise, she's brilliant. She's really good, actually. You know something's up with her character right from the very beginning. She plays it very fragile. There's a scene actually later on in the film where she's laying in bed crying in front of Adam's character, and she's talking to him and trying to open up to him about something that's happened to her in the past. And she reveals a secret, and it's really lush. It's a really nicely done performance. And her frizzy hair in it is quite sweet as well. So, hey, can't go wrong, obviously, with frizzy hair. So there are a few decent little scenes in the film, especially between Jack and Babette, the married couple, who lead the film, basically. And there's this moment where they both sustain an injury at the end. And they're laying on a bed in hospital, and she's got her arm out and he's got his arm out, and it's so sweet the way they're laying there, and just like, it's just cute. I don't know, it's just cute. Comedy value wise, there are a few ridiculously hilarious moments. The main one being the neighborhood evacuation. So the sirens go off, that everyone's got to evacuate, and one of their kids comes running into the kitchen, and he's like, we need to get the fuck out. And Babette turns around and she's like, did they say we have to, or was it more of a suggestion? And it's just really, it's weird, like weirdly funny. Comic, I liked it. The supermarket, yeah. So the supermarket scene at the end of the film is a bit weird. It's very collegey, as in, like, a bunch of college kids like farting around, putting on a performance for their tutors type thing. It's the whole family. They're just sort of just making really like movements. Like they're stood at the tip of the checkout, and like Greta's sort of like lifting something in the air, and Adam's just being weird. And the actors are just being weird, and they know they're being weird. It's not in character or anything. It's just weird. It was weird, basically. So yeah. A few sweet moments, decent. However, there are a couple of negatives that I am well and truly going to point out now. So, right, I hate any film that sort of poses as something, but really it's about something else. So it sort of bills itself as being post-apocalyptic or almost apocalyptic, but it's nothing to do with that. White Noise basically sells itself on this whole premise of an airborne toxic event. That's exactly how it's billed online and on Netflix, everywhere. That's its tagline. And the airborne toxic event causes the family to evacuate their home, and that's it. So it sounds quite brief, and it is really, but basically we get to witness this train crash that it releases a cloud of poisonous gas into the air and just swamps an entire city, and it focuses on the sort of subsequent panic of the residents when that happens. but the movie, it shifts. It basically shifts focus from the Gladney family as they travel to and then hang out at the local evacuation camp across town. And yeah, it's sort of it moves. So the airborne toxic event happens. It's in the background, but it then becomes something else. So yeah, it's like it runs on that theme, but it doesn't explore it enough. It's rubbish. I mean, there's a bit where the family stop at a petrol station and Jack's filling up the car, and this like looming sort of ominous cloud goes past the lights of the garage, and it starts to get in, kind of into exciting, but then that's it. He gets back in the car. They go to the camp, and then that's it. Spotlight shifts to the daughter character, who you might recognise as a grown-up Athena from Tomorrowland, I think it is. She's on a mission to find out about the mysterious medication that her mum Babette's currently taking. The family son gets his time in the spotlight as a budding scientist. So when they're at the evacuation camp, he stands up and holds a group talk with a bunch of complete strangers on sort of chemical impact on of certain substances on objects and things. It's just shit. Excuse my language. Not really a sincere apology. I don't really care, but it's shocking. It's not. It bases itself on the toxic event. You don't see. That's the thing. There's nothing. It doesn't use it enough. It doesn't sort of focus on it. It just meanders off, and that's it. Another scene sees Jack drive to a motel in town to confront the man who Babette has actually had some dodgy dealings with. So he turns up at the motel. There's a lot of talk, talks about how much he loves his wife. You don't love my wife. Why was she doing that? Why was she? Oh God's sake! There's a ridiculous bit where the family actually drive their car into a river, which actually starts to pick up, almost like the current that's sort of rushing them down. But then nothing. They sort of they're all sort of sat there in silence, like calm as anything. Almost reminds me of Rebel Wilson in a way. There's not much, drama there, and then they sort of somehow they get the hell out of this rushing river and then back onto land. Where the fuck is the toxic event? That's all I'm asking for. There's nothing there. Now, White Noise is actually quite strikingly similar to 10 Cloverfield Lane, if you've ever seen that. Now, I adored the first Cloverfield film, and I sat down to watch 10 Cloverfield Lane. I was bursting with excitement because I assumed it would be about the monster again and people in the city running out, things like that. It turned out to be anything but. It was just 3 characters, from what I remember, sitting in an underground bunker just talking. I'm not exaggerating. They were just talking for the entire movie. It was such a letdown. And White Noise, it mirrors this in terms of plot. It's just simply the airborne toxic event is just wallpaper for the other shit that's taking place. Yeah, the characters just shut the door and get on with what they're doing. Whatever. So yeah, it's bypassed. And side note, incredibly, 10 Cloverfield Lane is actually about an airborne toxic event as well. It's based on the concept of the monster. I think it's what caused the events that led to the monster that was running around in the first one. The Cloverfield, it sort of wandered off and got really confusing in the end. But I remember John Goodman's character sort of screaming, "Don't go outside! You're gonna fucking melt! Don't go outside!" That kind of thing. And yeah, it was just really. It's just really weird how they're both completely contrasting movies on totally different levels, but both contain exactly the same misleading wallpaper of a plot. Weird. I don't know. Right, so I've babbled through this for some reason. Babette almost. Oh, fuck it. Right, brand awareness. So I wrote this down because I'm really not sure if there was a point to this. And maybe someone can enlighten me, but there had to be some sort of point to the branded items that were on display throughout White Noise. I noticed from the very beginning, the opening scene where the family are in their kitchen, there was shit everywhere, as in items of food. Not really shit, but as in branded shit. There was Wonder Bread up on the fridge, Cheerios, Apple Jacks, Captain Crunch, Pop Tarts. There was Pepsi on the table. There was a branded milk on the table. I don't know. I haven't got an issue at all with it. It was just really weird how the director had purposely just sort of placed all these branded items. And those were just the beginning. They were, I think, there's a scene later on where Babette sits on Jack's lap and she's like, I know, I'm going to cook you dinner tonight. And she's holding this box in her hand and it's turned towards the camera and you can see like bird's eye, you know, the crispy pancakes and fish fingers. I don't know what she's holding. I didn't really care, but I was like, here we go again, bird's eye. There's a few scenes where the family are all together in the supermarket. Fucking hell. Tide, Wrigley's, Gobstoppers, Pepsi, Ritz, Milk Duds and Cheez-Its. You've got Mountain Dew, Lay's, potato chips, I think they're called, Lucky Charms, Fruity Pebbles, Frosted Flakes, and all other sort of Fruit Loop and all other fuzz, basically. I'm not bothered by it. I'm just weirded out by it. I don't know why there had to be so many names and companies thrown out there. Don't know. Right, so I'll finish here because this has been a bit of a weird one. I didn't even want to review it, to be fair. But if you're the more unique viewer who you enjoy weird shit, basically, then you'll love White Noise. It's very long. It's at least 2.5 hours. So by the end, I was a bit, oh my God, like my balls had just turned to iron. But yeah, you'll probably enjoy it. It's based on a concept that could have made real decent viewing, but it just didn't. It just fell on its ass. And I'm sure its sort of absurdist screenplay will appeal to the more, dry, satirical sort of fan who appreciates those subtle messages and things between the lines. I personally found it total bullshit. It was clearly spewed by someone. It was based on a novel. Well, based on a novel or not, it was spewed by someone who just wanted to get an extremely light story out there by sort of cloaking it with this concept that actually had a potential to be a brilliant film. It really did. I suppose in a way it was like wringing the juice out of Independence Day, real tight, and then chucking it over like an episode of The Mortons or something. So, you get this, it could be, but it's not there. And it's just, about a family just wandering about doing this stuff. Yeah, daily business. So, yeah, to round up, White Noise, God, you are bloody misleading. And I didn't understand what the whole brand stuff was about. I really didn't. If it was an advertising ploy, then you have fucking won, hands down. Greta Gerwig, excellent character. I really felt for her. I was really empathetic, and she was great. But the rest of the film, God, no, absolute no. And the fact that it was fucking long as well, no. Sorry, but no.